now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Chief Executive Officer of Talentsoft, Jean-Stéphane Artzy.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Talentsoft product launch. Congratulations for being here despite the snow and the incredible weather conditions in Paris. But I'm so glad to be with you this morning. And this is me. So we will have an incredible content for you this morning that will combine HR vision and obviously customer and demonstration and product illustrations and the roadmap. And obviously we'll have a lot of discussions together. I would like also to thank Microsoft, which is a partner that is sponsoring the event. And also there is a live stream going on. So there are 10 countries that can also see this morning presentation. So thank you for being there as well. Well, I would like also to thank all of you, because thanks to your projects, thanks to your trust, we had a very good year in 2017 with 30% growth and an incredible 300 new customers that joined Talentsoft. In fact, in just 1 year, we added 1 million of new users, spread out all over the world in 100 countries, in about more than 20 languages. And we deployed last year more users outside France than in France. I want also to thank you for your loyalty. We delivered a 97% retention rate. What is retention rate? In fact, it means that we achieved a good level of satisfaction with you and that you decided to continue your journey with Talentsoft. And 97% is really a much higher ratio than our competitors. So thank you for that. These are great brands that joined us last year. And I know some of the brands are here represented by you in the room. I want to thank you for being there again this morning. So today, what is Talentsoft? Really, as you know, we are 600 employees in 15 countries now. We have a fantastic community of customers and 9 million users. And we have the biggest R&D dedicated to SaaS HR in Europe with 200 developers. And this is thanks to you again. Something I want to mention. Last year, we have combined this high growth with a very stable, a very predictable financial model. And typically, we start this year, our run rate this year, for your information, is 70 million euro. Always the difference between dollar and euro now. So it's 70 million euro, and we start the year with 80% of that number already committed thanks to your multi-year contract. So that's an important step. We can combine high growth and financial stability today at Talentsoft. An important point that we had also last year, I suppose you saw these analyst reviews, but bottom line is that we are on the upper right side, which is always good with analysts. And they really mentioned that Talentsoft and ranked us as the best, in the best position for a European player. And some of them really said that we are a leader. So from that, where do we want to go? Yes, next year we'll be a $100 million revenue company. But the most important, and really my key motivation here, is to make sure we are your best strategic partner on the long term as a pure player for talent management and core HR. And how we want to do that? Well, first, we want to be the most open platform on the market. We don't want to force you into a rigid solution. We want to make sure that you can leverage HR tech innovations wherever they are, in Europe or globally, and deliver that in a very integrated way. So we will really put a lot of energy in this open platform and marketplace. Also, we want to deliver a solution to you so that you can implement in weeks, in months, not in years. So the best time to value. This is the value proposition of Talentsoft. And why? Because we want to make sure that as soon as possible, you begin to transform the experience of your people at work. And also, obviously, because we have all our experts, or product experts, or R&D, or support in Europe, we will be closer to you. And this is key in our motivation, to be able to listen to you and impact our methodologies, our product, and our roadmap. So with that, I wish you a fantastic morning. Really enjoy this day. And let's transform together millions, the experience of millions of people at work. Thank you very much. Now, please, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alexandre Paszewski for the HR trends of this year. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. And hello to all the ones who are in the different countries in the office to watch the product launch too. So we've got a very good news for 2018, actually. We have discovered the secret sauce to make work great again. Yes. And this secret sauce is very, very simple. It's all about acting normally at work. Acting normally within our companies. And if you think about that, this is not really what is happening today. If you think about someone coming from somewhere in the space, from another planet, thanks to Elon Musk and SpaceX, and is landing on Earth, and at 20 meters of difference, is landing within a company or out of a company in the street, it would feel like he has landed in two different planets, for sure. Because the way we act, communicate, collaborate, create in our personal environment and companies are very different. Let's take, for instance, recruiting. Are there any parents in the room? Yes? Okay, so I guess you have already tried to hire a nanny or an au pair. When you want to hire a nanny, it's not just about posting a job opening, organizing 2 times 1 hour of discussion and say, okay, this is my kid, goodbye. This is not the way you do. The way you act when you want to hire a nanny, it's to really get to know the person that is going to take the responsibility to be with your kid when you're out of home. And it's a very, very important responsibility. So you are going to ask 1,000 questions. You will want her or him to see how he's acting with your child You want to know how he's going to interact with her. And the idea is to build some trust. You need this trust because it's so important for you. And it's kind of the same for the nanny. She wants to know who you are. She wants to know if it will fit with your child because she wants it to be a success too. So it's all about being sure that we can trust each other. It's about building commitment, engagement, confidence. And it will happen through discussions. It will happen in a real situation. And it's very different from the way we hire people most of the times. And that's why we've got to come from recruiting to candidate relationship management. It's all about building trust. It's all about building a relationship. And we need that. And this is what recruiting will be all about this year. It will be about this candidate relationship management. Many companies from many industries have done this shift. It's not only Facebook or companies of the Silicon Valley. It's all the companies that need that because for a manager, be sure that the person you hire is the right one, will build the culture you need, will build success, is mandatory. And so obviously, you need to add that to your traditional process. And this candidate relationship management that is all about bringing engagement because we spend millions of euros trying to engage people, but it starts on the very first touch point you got with candidates. And once you have built this trust, when you have built this engagement, you've got to be sure that it continues through times. And it's all about being sure that the previous candidate that has become an employee is going to continue to be engaged. And you think about it, once again, comparing the real life, let's say that this weekend you're going to be invited by one of your friends, John, to have a dinner at Jenny's place. Okay, so you go to this dinner. And Jenny, being the one organizing the dinner, having invited everyone, she's going to decide who is allowed to talk about what. She's going to decide for all the topics of discussions. And she will tell you when you're allowed to talk about which discussion, with who. It would be a crazy dinner. It would be insane. This is not the way it happens in real life. But when you deal with company, when you are absolutely not shocked that when you join a company, your manager is going to tell you on which missions you are going to work. You don't pick your missions. You don't pick the topics on which you are going to work. You don't, most of the times, don't pick the customers with who you are going to interact. You are assigned to a mission. And if you're not satisfied, we are not going to ask you if you're happy with this mission. We are going to try to engage you on a mission you are not interested in. This is the way it works today in our companies. So you are hired for a job, and after you can pray that the missions you are going to be assigned to will be the ones you are interested in. But it's crazy. What we've got to do now, it's let people pick for the missions they will work on, because this is the real way to engage people. It's to let people pick what they are going to work on. And that's exactly what we want to organize this year with Talentsoft. We are going to go from a job level to a project, opportunities, missions level. And that's exactly what is happening, for instance, at the W.L. Gore company, which is a company, the American company that produces the Gore-Tex. 8,000 employees. When they've got some newcomers, what they do is the newcomers have a kind of learning expedition internally within the company, and they can discover all the projects W.L. Gore is working on. And so they really try to work on something to discover how it feels to work on that, with who you are going to work on. And the idea, after 2 or 3 weeks, it's to ask on which mission they want to work on. And if they decide to work on mission A, the people working on mission A are going to vote to say, yes, we welcome the newcomer or not. It's a totally different way to deal with onboarding. And right now it's pretty rare, But if you think about that, this is the way it should work. This is normal. And this way, you will have the engagement you want to get. And that's exactly what we have organized at Talentsoft. We hire, for instance, computer engineers, okay? But the computer engineer position doesn't mean anything on which technology you are going to work on, with who you are going to work on. Is it a project of 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 years? With which customer you are going to work on? And so what we do at Talentsoft, computer engineers, some of them, they have been computer engineers for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years of Talentsoft. And yes, they are set in mobility, but not from one job to another, but from one project to another. So they are going to work on mobile technologies, so new technology, new customers, new way to deal with actions or interactions or everything. And so it's all new. And so we organize this kind of project board where they know what kind of projects they can work on and they pick for the ones they're interested in. That's what we are going to allow right now with Talentsoft. But when you do that, you take a risk. You ask someone what he's interested in. You don't ask him if he's good at that or not, if he's got the right skills or not. And once again, this is not the way we act today. All the recruiting, all the management is focused on skills, competencies. So are you skilled enough to do that or not? I don't ask you, do you want to do that or not? I ask you, do you know how to proceed? Engagement comes from the idea to really, really rely on aspirations, employees' aspirations. And so if you want them to pick for what they're interested in, you've got to secure the risk. You've got to secure the decision. And that's where learning is happening. Learning comes today to let people take risk, but be sure that it's not a bet. We are not at Las Vegas. We've got to be successful at the end. So to secure this risk, you are going to train these people, develop them, bring them all the help they need to be sure that they will be successful on something they will be interested in. And once again, we've got to act normally. Here you see someone with a grandmother. And just remember when you are 5, 10, 15 years old, and you wanted to learn how to cook a chocolate cake. Just imagine that at that time, you asked your grandmother, could you learn me how to cook a chocolate cake? No problem. Please, have a seat. This is my PowerPoint. And she delivers a very nice PowerPoint with pictures of chocolate cake, with the recipe. You can have testimony of people having tasted our chocolate cake and saying it's great. It would be crazy. But this is exactly what we do in company. Oh, you want to become a specialist on this technology? Have a seat. I'm going to tell you. No. We all know that today we learn by doing. That's what Satya Nadella is saying. He says that we go from a know-it-all culture to a learn-it-all culture. We are going to learn by doing and learn every day. Why? Because every day you've got disruptions. Every day you've got changes. Every day you've got a major shift in a domain. And so the time you get trained on a specific skill, it's already obsolete. That's why we say that now the stake, it's not to get knowledge, to learn things seated in a chair looking at a PowerPoint. No, you've got to learn by doing. And that's exactly what technology is providing today. Thanks to smartphones, thanks to all the digital technology. Tomorrow, maybe today, thanks to AR, VR, you are going to pick the missions, the projects you want to work on. You won't have the necessary skills before, but you will acquire these skills while you are involved in the project. You will learn from mentor, from, coaches. And the idea is to build this pure, blended path where you can combine digital learning, thanks to your smartphones and so on, with moments where you will share some knowledge with your colleagues, but on a specific situation, on a specific project. That's the idea, that's the spirit. And a think tank in California is saying that by 2026, 27, anyway, you won't have the opportunity to learn before. It will move so fast, evolutions will be so quick that you will learn really in situation that will be the only option. And that's why schools, education is also shifting today. We've got to learn to learn. We've got to unlearn many things that we have learned. And all that is provided by technology today. It's possible. But once again, if you do that in an organization, in a company where management stays exactly as it is today, it won't work. We've got to think differently today. We've got to think in terms of shared leadership. What is shared leadership? This is a rugby game. On a rugby field, depending on the situation, depending on the fact that it's a scrum, it's a touch, it's a maul, you will have different players taking the lead. Depending on the fact that you attack, you defend, depending on a very given situation, someone is going to take the lead. There will be this player that will become this leader. And so there is a total shared leadership. And even when you are looking at the pop culture, for instance, with the Community of the Rings, of the Lord of the Rings, you know, the Tolkien book, you've got these very weird characters, and depending on the situation, the dwarf, at a very moment, can become the hero of the day because he can dig into a tunnel that no one else can do. Same thing with Avengers. You don't have Captain America or Iron Man now. You've got the Avengers. You don't have Batman or Superman. You've got the Justice League. Even the pop culture says that you cannot save the world alone. Why? Because the situations are so complex today that no one with a single expertise, a single domain of expertise can solve the situation himself. It's impossible. You've got to connect the dots. You've got to bring the people together to solve the problem because they have become so complex. And even if you have solved the problem, then you've got the solution. 2 days after, 2 weeks after, you will have a new problem. And the pace of the rise of the problems is so fast that you've got to reinvent new solutions every day. And that's why if you want to innovate, if you want to be successful as an organization, as a company, you cannot rely on one person, 2 persons, even a general management committee. It doesn't work. You've got to rely on the whole company, on every talent. And this is the spirit of talent management, actually. It's about highlighting the different potential, the different talents everywhere in the company. And depending on the situation you are facing, someone, maybe 2 people, maybe 10 people, maybe a whole department is going to bring the innovation you need. That's why, for instance, at LinkedIn, Pat Vadors, who is the HRD of LinkedIn, to solve the onboarding process issues they were facing because they were very unsatisfied with the onboarding process. She found that the best people to solve this problem should be the interns. Because, let's face it, the onboarding of interns is most of the times terrible. And so she has asked to 160 interns to gather in 30 groups to solve these onboarding issues they have lived. So they knew, because they have faced these issues. And they have brought a lot of solutions that Pat Vadors has adopted, and now the onboarding process is supposed to be better. That's why also Mazar, Accor, they have created Shadow Comex with young people that have many ideas, and they are not always listened by the real Comex. And so the spirit now is to allow innovation to stem from everywhere. That's a shared leadership we are talking about. And that's why talent management is made for. And the whole thing at the end, it's all about the convergence of technologies. Because if you think about that, you are going to allow people to act normally with tools that are designed in a normal way being you won't have the tools from your real life, the B2C tools, the ones you are using every day with your smartphones, all the apps, and the tools that are delivered by IT that are very different from the ones you are using at home. No, the idea is to make all the technologies converge. So from B2C, B2B, whatever are the needs you can have in the company, you can really bring all that in a platform that will allow people to pick these missions, to get in touch one with another, to get the help they need, to use some learning material out of the company that could be useful, but that will also bring within the platform, and will allow, as I said, with the candidate relationship management, to gather all the information we need for the conversation with someone, maybe information out of the company on social medias, on whatever, information you have gathered during the recruiting process. You bring all that in a single place, and at the end, you will have a very good overview on each individual working in the company. You will know what are his aspirations. You will know what are his potential. And when you will face problems, you will know who could solve this problem. And at the end, people will be really engaged because they will be themselves, they will use the tools they need, and they will have one maybe login password within the company, gathering all the services, all the information they got, all the information they need. And the idea to bring this normal life within companies, this is exactly what we want to do at Talentsoft. We think that we can bring this work is great again, just letting people live the way they want to live, behave the way they want to behave, and be sure to align the needs of the company with the aspirations of everyone and allow everyone to develop the skills they need to be successful. That's what we want to do. That's how we want to make it happen. And so right now, I'm going to call Just Us guys for the product launch to demonstrate everything and show you how we are going to do it concretely. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Winter 2018 product launch. Good morning, world. I hope you guys are well behind your screens. You can stop using Talentsoft for just 1 second to listen to us a little bit today. So Alex just spoke about how we will use tools in order to create highly personalized working and learning experiences. And that's what we want to look at in just a moment with our new product release. But before we do so, I'd like us to take a moment to think about what it means to create personalized working experiences. Because we all do that for one reason. We want to drive our organization forward. We want to drive our people forward. We want to make sure that we create innovation, new ideas, liberate energy within our companies. And for that, I'd like to take a quick look at a concept that Peter Heinzen developed called the day after tomorrow. Basically, what Heinzen says is that companies in an ideal scenario should spend about 70% of their time thinking about today. 20% should be spent about thinking about tomorrow, and about 10% about those big ideas, those moonshot ideas, those ideas how we can change our companies, how we can transform our organizations for the future, how can we change our people for the future, make them ready for the future. And he calls it the day after tomorrow. However, Heinzen also says that in reality, organizations spend about 93% of their time on today. They will spend about 7% of their time on tomorrow, and they will literally spend no time, none at all, thinking about the day after tomorrow. Surprised me as well, you know. I'd say I'd love to spend 10% of my time on the day after tomorrow, but Heinzen goes further. He says that it'd be nice to be able to spend 93% of our time on today. He thinks we spend most of our time on what he calls, his words, not mine, the shit of yesterday. And now, you could see, there was value created even today, even if it was less value than the day after tomorrow. But when you are dealing with the shit of yesterday, you're no longer creating value for your people, for your organization. And that's what we want to look at today with a short example, is how can we at Talentsoft help you move from I hope you are not all in the situation of shit of yesterday, to a situation where we can actually help you innovate around your people, in order to make sure that you have the time that you can liberate the creative spirit of each and every one to think about the day after tomorrow. And so we'll use an example of a company that thinks already a good amount of the time about tomorrow and even about the day after tomorrow, but they want to do more. And for that, I'd like to recruit today an innovation lab manager. And I'll use our own tool, so Hello Talent, which is our collaborative and proactive candidate relationship management software. And that, as Alex said, allows us to engage with candidates from the minute that we meet them. But before I show you, I'll like you to indulge me. I'd like us to hear from one of our customers, Devoteam, who've been using Hello Talent for the last years successfully already, doing exactly that. So let's hear it from Devoteam directly, please.
I am Mathieu Rivière. I'm Talent Acquisition Director for Devoteam in France. At Devoteam, we deliver IT technology for business, what means we are an IT consulting firm. We're about 5,000 employees all over Europe and Middle East, and we are spread in 17 countries. Our estimated revenue for 2017 is 530 million euros, and we expect to do €1 billion by 2020. The main challenge we are facing is that we are a bigger demand from our clients than the competencies we have on the market. At Devoteam, we are digital transform makers. That's why I wanted a solution that would reflect our habits and that will be really easy to use for managers that are not so keen to go into recruitment tools. So we need something that is quite friendly and quite intuitive in the way it works. We chose Hello Talent because it was very simple to use and very collaborative. It was really easy to gather feedback from managers or salespeople that were also involved in the recruiting process. We receive about 6,000 CVs a year, and we source about 15,000 profiles. We really like the browser extension for social networks, so it would really ease the creation of profile into the solution. About 150 people are using Hello Talent. 30 recruiters are really daily using it, and about a little bit more than 100 sales, operational managers, directors that will be also using it to give feedbacks or to look at the profile. The first big result is we didn't do spreadsheets anymore. There was a big saving of time, and we also increased the transformation rate of profile that we sourced by 10% approximately. Since we implemented Hello Talent, we are now more collaborative, we go faster in our recruitment, and we have a better transformation rate of our sourcing.
The collaborative spirit, this collaborative way of sourcing, is exactly what we want to look at right now. So we've all been in the situations, all of those of us who've recruited before. Let's say we're at a job fair, and we've met a candidate that we want to spend some more time with and find out more. So Elodie, welcome. Hi. So Elodie, the innovation lab, the innovation lab position that we have at Acme now open, would that be something that would be interesting, a challenge that you would like to take up?
Yeah, yes, Justus. You know, I'm actually working for a quite traditional company where, as you mentioned before, 100% of the time is dedicated only to the day-to-day. But what we did with our innovation team, with a new way of working, with a more collaborative approach, we really succeeded in freeing up more time to better prepare the organization for the future. So, of course, I would be very happy to share my experience with you with your Innovation Lab project.
Great. Then I would ask one last thing from you. Do you happen to have a business card that I could share with my colleagues at headquarters?
Wait. You're so lucky.
Oh, thank you very much, Elodie.
You're welcome.
So, now, we all have had this scenario before, and Devo team just talked about it. How do we go from quality, or from quantity to from quantity to quality? And that's what we want to do. We can now use our smartphone, and you can see I can simply scan the business card and taking a picture of it right now. And once I've done so, all I have to do is share it with Hello Talent. And you can see by sharing it with Hello Talent, I can even choose right away the talent pool, meaning the group of people that I would like to push Elodie's profile into. In this case, I'll select the talent pool for Innovation Lab. And once I've done so, I can even choose the workflow step. And why is this important? Well, again, it's all about creating a fast relationship engagement with that person. So I want to make sure that I've met her now on a job fair. I want to make sure that my team at headquarters, and we'll look at them in just a second, can actually qualify her further, and right away. So I'll select her as a pre-qualified candidate, and now I can easily see and access her profile already within Hello Talent. So for that, I'll open up the Hello Talent app, and I can see the different talent pools here again. So I'll open up the talent pool on Innovation Lab, and here her profile. So I can have all the information. This is now some information that my team at headquarters already worked on. I can have a summary of her. I can have her contact information. I can even jump off into her social profiles if I chose so, directly from the application. Now, what we want to take a look at is what my team sees at the same time. Again, it's about engagement. And engagement happens in real time today. And so my team would access their Hello Talent desktop screen at headquarters. You could see I have the different information about Elodie already enriched here. I have, in addition, her CV attached. Now, we can use tags within Hello Talent to identify talents and people with similar profiles very easily. So what I want to do now is use the intelligence of the system to automatically select the tags that I want to tag Elodie with. So the system will actually suggest tags simply by clicking on this button. And you can see they've highlighted information that is relevant according to the talent pool that I have Elodie listed in. So I can now select her tag Business Management, and simply by clicking on it, I can add another tag to her profile. I then, of course, have, if I go back, more information, the job profile that she's looking in, that we're looking at her for. We have her social profiles that we can find out more about her. But again, it's about collaboration and engagement. And it's not only about engaging the candidate, it's about engaging my team as well, and my network, my trust network that will help me qualify this candidate even more. So what I want to do now is, I know this school that Elodie went to, and I know someone within my network who has actually been to the same school. So all I have to do is ask Laura at Laura, Elodie has been at the same school as you. What do you think of her? And then in real time, Laura can react and comment at the same time. And if we go down, we can see now she had a great experience working with Elodie. And again, here I engage my network because I trust no one more than the people within my network to give me more qualified information about this candidate. And of course, we can again engage the candidate directly from Hello Talent as well. So if I, for example, chose to go further with Elodie, which I would like to do, I could send emails directly from within the tool out towards the candidate, and the candidate could then in real time again at the job fair, if she has her smartphone on her, respond and send replies back into the system. So everything is tracked and in one place, accessible. And of course, since Hello Talent is completely integrated with the rest of Talentsoft, we can now simply continue with, if you have a classical recruiting process still within your organization, and send them into Talentsoft Recruiting to continue, not with quantity, but with a highly qualified candidate that we are sure to move on with in the future. But of course, the engagement process doesn't stop when you've decided to hire someone. It doesn't restart when they join your company. The onboarding that we want to do with Talentsoft here at Acme is different. We want to use learning materials, learning content, in order to make sure that a person who decides to join our organization would be ready from day one. That means I would like to create a highly personalized, highly engaging onboarding process with Elodie, thanks to Talentsoft Learning. And we'll do that in just a second, and we'll make sure that Elodie can actually create some content herself to show her engagement with the company. But first, let's hear it from another one of our customers, Proximus. Proximus is, for those of you who've been to Belgium, one of the leading Belgian mobile phone providers and telecoms providers. And they use Talentsoft exclusively for all their learning needs. But let's hear again from Proximus themselves.
Proximus is a large telecom company in Belgium with almost 4 million customers and close to 14,000 employees. Proximus has evolved from a traditional telecom company to a more ICT and solution-based operator. Proximus wants to be a digital service provider by delivering a superior customer experience and has a strategy of digital transformation. Digital transformation not only for our customers, but also for our own employees. We are a learning organization and digital learning is key. Therefore, I'm involved in the realization of a more sharing and learning culture. And you don't realize it with a top-down approach, you need really a bottom-up approach. To do so, I've created my project, Make Your Own Digital Learning. Via user-friendly method, we are inspiring employees to make their own digital modules. And the learning curve is very low. In just 15 minutes, you learn how to do it. And basically, we work with only 2 tools, PowerPoint and, of course, Talentsoft. We're using PowerPoint to create MP4 videos, combining presentations, screen recordings, or even videos, and with the voiceover. And we are using Talentsoft to pack the module and make it interactive. Really, it's a golden combination. Results? In the last 12 months, we evolved from 1 e-learning creator, so me, up to 40 today, and the number is still increasing every day. The number of creator modules grew from 40 a year to more than 200 titles, and we have only started 1 year ago. And even the satisfaction rating given by the trainees are similar to those of the professionals. My mission is to continue boosting digital learning in our company and beyond. We also will continue to improve the quality of the modules by giving constant coaching and feedback. And we are applying now the same method to boost the use of quizzes and webinars. Honestly, I couldn't succeed without Talentsoft. They have switched their easy-to-use online version at exactly the right time. So the new creators can easily create their digital modules end-to-end, and they are loving it.
I'm always so glad to hear that Proximus loves Talentsoft, so it's great to hear that. Well, I'd like to welcome Elodie to join me on stage. Welcome, Elodie. So Elodie, what we'd like to do now together is actually create a highly personalized onboarding course session for you. And then I'd actually like you to also create some learning content, because I'd like you to engage with our community and share your knowledge as well, if you're okay with that.
Yes, I am.
Well, great news. So if you're right, how do you like learning? What's your preferred method of consuming content today?
Actually, Justus, I think that to be sure that I can learn quickly and above all memorize easily, the best format for me is something short and above all interactive.
Okay. So I'd suggest video content for you, if you don't mind. So what I'd like to do is go into the learning content management system. And here, in order to create a video, all I have to do is drag and drop or copy and paste the link to a video that I think is very relevant for you, and then all I have to do is approve it. And I can see here, the unique thing is that all the information, everything about the meta tags, the data, is pulled into Talentsoft, so I don't have to rekey any of the information that is pertinent to this video. And all I have to do is publish it, and make sure it is published into the right session on the LMS, and in one click, we're in the learning management system. And there, of course, I need to just quickly make sure that it has a right title, that has an appealing logo, and is something that people will actually look at. And then I can save and exit. And you saw in less than a minute, I was able to create your onboarding content, exactly what you need in order to do so. I can also see that I have information about who has consumed this content. How long have they spent, how much time have they spent with this content? And in order to sign you up, nothing easier than that. All I have to do is to click the plus button, search for you by name or look for you in the list, and add you to the list. And that's it. So I believe from my side, I have our first content for you extremely fast, ready at your disposal. But Elodie, again, it's about engaging you from your end also with our community. And so maybe do you feel comfortable in already creating some content based on your knowledge?
Let's try. So thanks to the seamless integration between LMS and LCMS platforms, I can just go back to the LCMS in one click. And here, to create my content, I have several options. Among them, I can create a new e-learning module, for example. So here, you may think that you don't have the time, that you don't have the resources to create such a content, to create e-learning modules. But what you will see now is how fast it can be once you have the right technology in your hand. So let's get started. With the online editor, I have a wide range of learning activities to create my content. I can create videos, presentations, etc. And let's get started with some instructions. Instructions to guide the learners in their learning experience. And here, what you can see is that everything is already filled in. I'm using pre-configured template to save time. And basically, I'm done with my instruction. This is as easy as this. So then, as I mentioned before, and as Proximus said as well, I can add any other learning activities to build my module. And I can even add a skill catch. Skill catch is a mobile app to create user-generated content. Okay, so this means that each of you can use a smartphone to capture a video and capture his expertise and share it with the entire community of learners in one click. So before the presentation, I saved and grabbed a skill catch, and I can just add it in my e-learning module. And I'm done with this module. What I want to do now is just test it to have a view as if I were a learner, make the last adjustments if needed. And when it's finalized, I can publish it in one click on the LMS platform in the same session as just was created before. So back on the LMS platform, I see now the session that has been enriched with this new content. And in the LMS platform, there is something more to keep me engaged in a continuous learning experience. There is the community. The community is the place where I can interact at any time with the learners, where I can get useful insight. And for me, it's also another channel to share my knowledge, my expertise, and my experience. Okay? So what you've seen now is how the LMS and LCMS platforms help design a highly personalized learning experience with fast learning, with knowledge sharing. And this is exactly what will help you freeing up more time to create and to prepare tomorrow, actually.
And we want to continue think about tomorrow. And since you have now joined us and you're now fully operational within the company, we of course need to talk about setting objectives and missions. And Alex mentioned it before, we need to think differently when it comes to performance management. We can no longer rely on meeting once or twice a year. It's just no longer possible. It's not what we expect as employees, it's not what we need as managers, and it's not helping us in HR either. And we want to do that, Elodie, in just a moment, but again, I'd like us to listen to our friends from Link by Net, who already have achieved some great results using Talentsoft for their 360-degree feedback round. So let's hear it from Link by Net directly.
Link by Net est une société de services informatiques qui a 3 métiers. Le métier historique est l'infogérance, le métier de service cloud et multi-cloud même, et puis un métier qui est nouveau pour nous, qui est celui de la sécurité. Nous avons 600 collaborateurs dans le monde sur 10 sites différents et nos plus gros pays sont en Asie, notamment au Vietnam, à l'île Maurice, en France et au Canada. La culture d'entreprise est plutôt une culture ouverte qui se manifeste notamment par les bureaux qui sont complètement en open space, avec une hiérarchie qui est plutôt écrasée, avec un accès assez facile au management et qui repose notamment sur l'intelligence collective. Solliciter les collaborateurs pour les décisions et les prises de responsabilité au plus près de leurs compétences. Nous utilisons 2 modules de Talentsoft, le module performance et compétences et le module formation. Celui que nous avons le plus exploré, c'est le module performance et compétences, qu'on a utilisé d'abord pour l'évaluation annuelle, ensuite pour l'entretien professionnel et enfin aujourd'hui pour le feedback 360. L'objectif de ce projet, c'est vraiment le développement des managers au travers d'une évaluation 360 degrés, avec donc un accompagnement à la fois individuel, donc sur mesure pour chacun de nos managers, mais aussi plus collectivement en fonction des enjeux collectifs qui se seront dégagés. La confiance qu'on peut avoir en chacun de pouvoir donner un avis éclairé et qui sera utile pour son manager ou pour les managers avec lesquels il travaille. Au début, quand on a commencé à travailler sur le module performance et compétences, on les avait envisagés de manière très simple en faisant l'entretien annuel, l'entretien professionnel. Et au fur et à mesure, on a découvert finalement tout le potentiel de la solution et de la manière dont on pouvait explorer des nouvelles manières de faire, donc avec le 360, mais avec aussi d'autres formes de questionnaires ou d'évaluation. Et c'est ça aussi qui est passionnant dans tous ces modules, c'est d'être à la fois au service des collaborateurs, de l'entreprise et aussi finalement, in fine, au service de nos clients.
Well, thank you very much, LinkByNet. And I'm very sorry, Marianne. I don't know where you are, but I know you're here. Hello. So if anyone has any questions about how LinkByNet has achieved their results, I'm sorry, Marianne, again. I'm sure she would be more than happy to answer any of your questions as well. So, Elodie, back to us. Now, again, we want to create a performance review that is a bit different with you today. So I think let's set some missions and objectives together.
Yeah.
And let's do so using Talentsoft. So we'll log into our My Talentsoft space. So for those of you who are not yet Talentsoft customers, of course, this is our digital platform that allows us to access all HR information and even information from third-party tools as well. And all I have to do now is search for Elodie by name. So I'll type into a search bar Elodie. And when I click on her name, I get redirected to the talent profile. Now, the talent profile is all new. So we have reworked it based also on your feedback. So thank you again for all the feedback that you've given us about the usability and the user experience you have with it. You can see I have information about her job description, about her salary, so I could jump off to that information and have that shown to me on this one page as well. But let's focus on your performance management, on the objectives. And you can see that we do still have, and we are able to still have, the more traditional top-down objectives, if you will. So we have a 30% growth in sales as a company objective. But I have, as a manager as well, an interest that Elodie works on a project I think is extremely important, so no reason why I cannot include that as well. But Elodie, I'd like to hear from you now. In your new role, what do you think is your key next step that you need to take, be it in the next 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years?
I think that the priority for the Innovation Lab is to establish the team first. So we can just create a new objective together. So let's build the team for the Innovation Lab. This is a quite short-term objective. We need to have the first newcomers starting by the end of next quarter. And which is really relevant here is that we can attach this objective to a more corporate mission, which is actually for Acme driving the innovation within the organization.
That's great. So in just a few clicks, we have created this new objective. And it's, again, not about creating an objective and then forgetting about it. It's about making sure that HR, managers, and employees have a continuous conversation throughout the year. Continuous conversation every week, every month, based on the need of the project they're working together on. And so in this case, Elodie, I know we've already been working on building the team, so it's great that we're aligned on your objectives again. And we can even add an evaluation in real time here. So I'll say you already have achieved 25% in my assessment of the goal. So we can, again, see that in real time we can update this information and it's tracked throughout time, throughout the year. And so if we look at all this now, do you feel comfortable that you have the right mission in place to move forward?
Yes, but Justus, would you have a way to help me identify internally maybe someone, a talent, who would be interested in my Innovation Lab project?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. Of course we do. So, and luckily we have one more thing for you today, and we're extremely proud to be able to show you our all-new talent box within our talent review module today. We've worked very hard with you, our customers, again, to build our new talent box, to make sure that it corresponds exactly to the use cases that you have today and tomorrow in your organizations. An extremely flexible model, and we'll look at that together right now. It'll help us identify those talents for your team. Again, so we'll start at My Talentsoft, we'll go into the talent review process, and once I'm there, we can see for those of you who already use it, of course, the familiar side of our talent grid, which recuperates all the information about the performance management, has it listed here, can be enriched, of course, by managers and HR. And all I have to do is now select those talents that I would like to include and simply click on the talent box. And you can see here that I have now created the more traditional 9-box based on performance and potential in one click. I have all the information about all the talents that I've already rated within the talent review are here in this highly personalized 9-box. But I think, Elodie, for you, we need to take it a step further. And the advantage, again, here is that we at Talentsoft allow you to attach any sort of axes that you'd like to measure within the organization on the talent box here. So if we go to the next talent box that we have pre-configured within NACME, we can take a look that here it's performance and drive for innovation. So exactly what we need to look at for you.
Yeah, and Justus, I see that here, these two people are not positioned yet because I assume they have not been assessed yet
Correct.
on the drive for innovation. But actually, I already met them and had some meetings with them, and I'm really convinced that they have a high drive for innovation. So could you move them to the high potential box here?
Of course, nothing easier than that. So all I have to do is drag and drop the talents onto the corresponding talent box grid. And here I can see it's on the Steve Jobs box, because all of our high drive innovators are Steve Jobs, of course. Then I can add a comment to say they're a good fit, and so absolutely we think that this is the right talents for this grid. But what's even stronger is that we can, of course, simulate now different types of talent reviews. We could make assumptions based on conversations with managers and HR, but we can also apply them directly. So if we hit apply on the top, we can make sure that the changes we made are saved within the talent review module, and all that information that we model here, we can now find again in all the rest of the module as well.
Okay, great, Justus. I think that Brian would be a good match for the lab. Do you think we should assess another criteria to be sure he would be happy to be engaged in this project?
I'm glad you asked, Elodie, because I wanted to show you another great talent box that we came up with. So it's our retention box. I'm really excited about that one, because it shows you how different we can set up these different talent boxes. So here we have a 6-box, because we believe that retention risk is high or low, and then we have the impact on the organization, of course.
But wait, Justus, here I can see many people. Can you tell me where is Brian?
Well, Brian's not in the kitchen, but we'll be able to find him very easily by simply going onto the talent search and type Brian. By clicking on him, we can identify him right away. So if we now choose to click on Brian, you can see the corresponding field is lit up. And so I think this is absolutely someone that you should talk to, especially based on the missions and objectives that you have within your team. I think this could really help keep Brian within the company.
That's great, Justus, because this is exactly what we want to do with the Innovation Lab. We want to engage people with fulfilling opportunities, with fulfilling projects. As Alex said before, we want to align their aspirations with valuable projects for the organization. So everything you've seen today is how technology is here to help you take up this challenge. With collaborative sourcing, with social learning, by engaging a continuous conversation within the organization, this is how you can liberate the knowledge across this organization. This is how you can break silos. And of course, this is how you can dedicate more time to create more value for tomorrow and of course for the day after tomorrow.
Well, and that's exactly what we saw here. We were able to see that. We were able to engage a candidate very easily, very fast, and engage our network through our collaborative relationship management tool with Hello Talent.
Yeah, you also see how the LMS and LCMS platforms are here to help you design a highly personalized learning experience with social learning, fast learning, and knowledge sharing.
And again, when we talk about a personalized experience and performance management, it's all about that as well. So we're able to create a personalized experience for Elodie and set objectives that are aligned to her aspirations and goals for her personal career, but also for the company.
And finally, you've seen how the talent review can be fully tailored to your needs and how the talent box helps you identify the right talent for the right opportunity in your organization.
Perfect. Well, Elodie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Before we have a look collectively at the roadmap and our future innovation and how we can accompany you moving forward, I'd like to take a moment to speak about the example we just saw, because it's not just any company. It's not just any example. This is the story of Talentsoft. It's the story of Jean-Stéphane, of Alex, of Joël, who created a company based around the values of driving innovation, disrupting the existing, making sure that HR have the time to think about the day after tomorrow. It's the story of Elodie and myself and how we can thrive within this organization. And I'd like to encourage you all who are our customers, who are thinking about becoming our customers, who are our partners, to come talk to us and see how we can help you, how we can be more than just a software vendor, how we can accompany you in HR, how we can help you think about the company of the future and the HR of the future. So come speak to us. Thank you all. Thank you very much. But of course, you all are also here to hear from us how we are going to innovate in the future. And for that, there are no better speakers than our own product teams, our own product owners, our own R&D teams. So let's hear it from them directly, please.
Signing a document digitally guarantees its integrity and legal compliance. In that way, we are including a native solution that will improve user experience and operational efficiency.
For example, during the onboarding process, HR will be able to instantly generate a new contract directly from the employee file and invite the employee and the manager to digitally sign it. Contracts can be reviewed and signed from anywhere, even a smartphone, in just one click. Once signed, the contract will be automatically stored under the employee's file in Talentsoft Hub.
General Data Protection Regulation is a directly applicable European law in all EU member states starting with 25 May 2018. The regulation applies to all kinds of personal data processing, also applying to outside EU processing under certain conditions. GDPR brings out new concepts, such as privacy by design, which means that data protection principles shall be taken into account from the design of products, and privacy by default, which means that by default only personal data which are necessary for each specific purpose of the processing are processed. GDPR also brings in new rights to data subjects, such as right to be forgotten, that means right to personal data erasure, right to data portability, which means transfer of personal data from a service provider to another, right not to be subject to a decision based solely on automated processing, such as profiling, right to be informed, more detailed information, freely given, specific, informed and unambiguous consent when this is required, right to compensation directly from the controller or the processor.
First, consent or opt-in. In Talentsoft career sites, we will have a customizable text field allowing each company to mention their rights to candidates and the purpose of the personal data collection. Secondly, the right to be forgotten or opt-out. In Talentsoft, the authorized data retention period will be customizable by country to meet the national legal requirements. Furthermore, a candidate will be able to contact the administrator to ask for deletion of his data or delete it by himself from his front office account. Finally, the right to data portability. Our recruiting solution will include an export feature, giving our customers the ability to give the data directly back to a candidate or transfer it to a third party.
We are going to provide an automated consent request feature and a candidate data page accessible and editable by the candidate. We believe HelloTalent will help our customers to be GDPR compliant. How? By making it possible to monitor consent, because it's a natural part of building relationships with candidates. And in the end, that's what HelloTalent does best.
Hub solution is designed around different mechanisms such as individual data access, transaction audit, storage, and different security levels. Extracting data is not the bottom line. You also need a format which allows HR and employees to check and approve the data. As such, we are providing our customers with access to any employee information, including his legal documentation. But giving access to information upon requests is just the tip of the iceberg. Starting in 2019, the self-service will become even more important for HRs. It will empower employees in managing their personal data and provide HRs with the mandatory help desk they need.
We stay true to the core objective of the product, being a single source of trust for all human resources questions. Obviously, this means that data quality is the most important concern of everything we design, and transparency is key to success. Our understanding is that relying only on administrators to create an information sharing culture is a perspective that quickly becomes outdated. Hence, we are committing to a new concept: push analytics everywhere to promote data quality where it matters most. Not at the end of the day, when we need a report, but at every moment of the company's life, when users are leveraging Talentsoft's platform to achieve their missions. The philosophy is very simple. Each time a user spends time entering data in the course of his or her mission, the platform has the responsibility to provide him with immediate feedback in place and in real time.
With Talentsoft Analytics, recruiters will be able to gain direct insights into their vacancies. You'll be able to see things like average time to fill, applicant to hire ratio, how well processes respect corporate policies, and more. All the information you need will be at your fingertips.
Reporting was the administrator's problem. Analytics is everybody's asset.
Alex, the notion of job doesn't match the pace of the business anymore. Isn't it time to stop talking about jobs?
You're right, Joel. Actually, what people really care about now are the missions, the projects they are going to work on, more than the jobs they are going to occupy. It brings some more agility, it brings some more innovation, engagement, and that's exactly what we're going to bring within Talentsoft. So please, stay tuned.
So, because I know that also on our live stream, we all have all of our product and R&D teams watching us right now. I'd like you to join me in thanking them for all their hard work over the last months and for everything we've seen today. So please join me in thanking them. And Alex just mentioned agility, and because we want to stay agile and make sure that we actually believe that you can ask us anything, so we'll have the opportunity now for any of you to ask any questions of Jean-Stéphane, of Alex or Joël about the product, about Talentsoft. So if there are any questions, please feel free. Don't be shy. You can ask them in French. You can ask them in German. Well, I have a first question then, if I may. We saw a lot of product innovation today, Alex and Joël. Could you maybe talk us through a bit more about what is going on with Core HR, Talentsoft Hub, and what is going to happen in the next few months?
Okay, just to, hello again, to start with Core HR, so the upgraded version of the Core HR is ready. We've got, I would say, around a dozen of customers that are using it right now and help us to fine-tune the last details. So it's a very good thing. As you saw in the roadmap, we are working on workforce management with e-signature, the ability to store documents. So what is really interesting, it's that now we can really target very large organizations that don't have this sometimes unique ID, this core documentation. So we are ready for that, and we can also help to fluidify all the processes dealing with workforce management.
Yeah, and maybe another point which is very close to our European DNA is that we are going to be able to also allow not only for core models in our Talentsoft Hub, but also localization, local variations, for example, per country or per entity, per organization, per agency, so that not only you get the right information all over your organization, the point of truth, but also a quality point of truth, because this is how, when you apply it locally, this is how you get the right information at the right place.
And last thing what is very interesting is that the combination, because the hub, once again, it's a core HR, it's workforce management, it's all library of API allowing us to connect to any payroll vendors, to time and attendance system and this kind of thing. And also, we've got this real ability to put core HR in many hands. So the first feedback we got, for instance, is that it's possible now for managers to grab some sections of information and fill them themselves without each time having to ask to an HR administrator. So that's a very, very good thing that occurred. And so the UX seems really to make people very pleased about the new version.
Well, thank you very much for answering my question. Anyone else have any questions? Yes, there's a gentleman right here. Just give us 1 second. Can we have a microphone here? Thank you. Sorry, you'll be next. We got you.
When it comes to analytics, more and more HR needs to analyze not only HR data, but most of the time also data coming from finance or etc. So from other platform. So I understand that you are able to connect, but sometimes, I mean, what is the vision of Talentsoft? That we integrate other data under Talentsoft to make the analysis for HR purposes, or to extract Talentsoft to other analytics tool to make those analyses?
Well, the thing is that we are, but this is what is interesting, I think, with Talentsoft, is that we are really HR-driven. What it means is that we want to be totally HR-oriented, and what we are very proud about is at day one, being able to deliver all the dashboards, graphs that will make sense for you without any IT project. So it's HR-ready. But still, when you got some processes where it could make sense to get an external information, for instance, dealing with the revenue, just to be sure that all the learning we give all year long makes sense, help people to develop themselves, and at the end, bring some more productivity and performance, we could still get some external information from an external vendor, and use it within our internal cube, because we've got this ability. It's just about bringing the connections between Talentsoft and other systems.
Yeah, you've pronounced a very important word very quickly, so I would like to just stress it. It's a no project approach. No project means, and to do that, you need to see it, actually. But just by a push of a button, you are ready from your operational data to use it in analytics. So that means it's just a few seconds and you get all your information and you can use it right away. This is why it is HR ready. Yes, we can include, like, for example, benchmarks that we can include in the HR data that Talentsoft generates. We can also export everything to a more global data warehouse and so on. Yes, this is possible. It's more a traditional way, let's say, of doing analytics. But the way we want to promote is to put analytics at every step and in every hand right away. So for managers, of course, also for HR, but mostly also for managers. And we think that this is really the quick added value and the time to value of Talentsoft.
And just coming back to core HR, we all know that everyone is extremely interested with artificial intelligence, big data, chatbot, and it's interesting. But still, many of you maybe still struggle at knowing the headcount of your company, the gender balance, and this very elementary information. So first, core HR allows to get the truth, as you said, of information, and thanks to analytics totally embedded and ready on day one within the core HR, it's to really provide all these very simple information. So that's really the spirit of analytics, and it will allow, as Joel said, allow to do some quality check and be sure, because everything we have mentioned is very interesting if the data you manipulate is correct. And that's exactly what now we can take in charge with the hub, with the analytics embarked within the hub. We can really assure you that you will manipulate really true data.
There was another question from the gentleman in the back row here. Yes.
Oui, bonjour, je vais poser ma question en français. Dans votre roadmap, vous parlez de la e-signature. J'ai rien vu sur le stockage et le partage des documents électroniques. Vous pouvez en dire un peu plus?
Sorry, the question was about the e-signature and data storage and processing of documents within the solution. So maybe...
E-signature, what is very interesting with the hub, as I said, you've got a library of API allowing you to connect with any kind of vendors. What is interesting is that we have done some very nice partnerships that allow to do some e-signature within Talentsoft. It means in terms of user experience, you won't see that we are using, for instance, the services of a partner, which is the case, for instance, with Connective, which is a partner. And Connective is also managing data storage, document storage. And what I really want to say here is that you won't know that we are using an external vendor, because the partnership allows us to get a unified user experience. And so you will have the document that will be created, like the contract, within the hub. You will display it, store it. You will add some e-signature on these very documents. And if you don't use, for instance, Connective, but another one, we unplug Connective, plug another vendor, and we can still manage the different processes that I've mentioned.
Yeah, it's important to understand that there are actually 3 features in one. There are the e-signature, the document storage, and the document vault, which is yet another topic we are working on. The difference between document storage and document vault is one is just a place to store document. The other one is, in French, coffre-fort. So there is a notion of security applied to the document as well. So we will provide the 3 along the time. We start with e-signature, and we have a sort of default approach with an embedded document storage. But as time goes along, we will have more partners and more options to plug and not plug, as Alex was saying, with different partners.
Anyone else? Yes. Marine, bonjour.
I will try in English. So my question is about the CoreHR module. Do you have already clients who are using it? And if yes, how have you worked with them to implement it, to change from the former module to the new one? That was a big question from last year.
Okay. So first, thank you for your question. Former module means just the previous version. It's not another module. It's a previous version of what we call the hub. The hub is the offer embedding CoreHR, workforce management, analytics, and API. So what we've done is very simple. When we started maybe more than 2 years ago, we knew that we need some more traceability features, localization features, and a different user experience. So as you know it, we co-design our new features with each time 5, 10, 15 customers. So here we have used it with many different industries. We had Geodis, we had La Française des Jeux, we had Armatis, we had also Imperial, which is in the room. We are talking a lot also with them about what would they need and so on. And each time in terms of localization, we really rely on the people working in the different offices of Talentsoft to help us to understand the different regulations. We think it's a very strong point of Talentsoft, being able to manage these different regulations among Europe and among the world. We deliver a screen. They play with it and they check the regulation, they check the UX. Obviously, the traceability feature is easy to check. And the idea was to know what kind of data section is more mandatory for you, who is going to use this data section. Will it be a manager? Will it be an HR? And so each time we add some new rights, we add some new options to be sure that at the end, it can even work in the hands of the employee itself with the notion of self-service. So we take different persona, different process, different section of information, and people play with it. It's happening now with the customers that I've mentioned. They are using it now. So, for instance, if you want to know what is the state of your CoreHR, we can organize it, and you see how it works, what kind of data sections you will need. And it's not a migration.
Yes, exactly. The point is you can ask to activate, actually, the Talentsoft Hub. And within the Talentsoft Hub, you keep your employee data, you keep your referentials. Now, if you want to take advantage of the new features of the Talentsoft Hub, let's say, for example, on a referential, the new features are that you can historize referentials. Before the hub, you could historize only the history of the attachment of people to the referentials. Now you can historize both, also the referential itself. If you want to benefit from those new features, then you have to manage the referential in TS Hub directly, as opposed to let it in the previous way you would manage it. So that's the kind of arbitrations you want to make when you move to CoreHR to using the new functionalities of the TS Hub.
Any other questions in the room? Anyone? I know we have some questions online. Selena, do you have, there were some questions online, I was told, so let's have a quick look. We get fair treatment for everyone. First question, are you ready to structure work around projects, opportunities, rather than positions? You answered already a bit, maybe a bit more detail, Alex?
At Talentsoft, we did it. Because the idea, as I said, within Talentsoft, it's really to organize all the work through projects. And as I said, all our teams, it's more than, it's interesting, once again, to remind that it's more than 200 people in France that we are co-managing, that really build the product you got every day. And the idea is to structure through the different projects we are going to work on. And it really brings some more fluidity. And what we have noticed is that sometimes people wanted to leave Talentsoft or any company because they wanted to change the technology they were working on, for instance. And what is interesting now is that they can move from one technology to another, just shifting from one project to another. And so that's the same for freelance. When people among us decide to leave companies and become freelance, for instance, with all the lose of comfort and this kind of thing you can have when you become freelance, it's just because they want to take the end on what they are working on. And so we have organized Talentsoft this way. We have, I would say, 15, 20 customers in different industries that are working this way. And we are sure this is a very important trend that is happening right now.
Just to complete, we already organized our teams. We co-manage the teams, as you just said, into the form of programs. So a program is something limited in time. So it's like a project, and the people are working on a program, but then when the program is finished or has reached a certain phase, people can go to another program, and so on and so forth. And what we try to do is that people who are the most motivated for a mission or a task at a given moment are given this task. And then when they are finished, they go to some new opportunity or to some new projects.
And this is exactly the aim of Talent Review. The Talent Box that you've seen can really help us to highlight people we would have never thought about. And honestly, that was really the spirit of the talent management on day one, is that each time a new program occurs, we know some people. And so we immediately think about a dozen of people we have talked to and we knew they were interested in this kind of program. But there are 600, yeah. 200, it's too much, so the idea is to use the Talent Box to discover the aspirations of people, what they have worked on, what they would like to do, and this is really the way to use it. And managers are involved in the Talent Box too, because they feed information on the ground. The 360 and the feedback, the continuous feedback, is here to feed Talent Box, because you can be sure that if you've got information coming from the ground, from the real work, and from all the people, the contributors of programs, projects, assessing each other, giving feedback on each other, you will have really a very good highlight and overview upon your human capital.
Maybe one last question, sorry, just to be also time conscious and with our friends online. A word to our mobile strategy. There was a question about what is Talentsoft's mobile strategy today?
Just to complete maybe on the previous one, we tend to try things. We are our own lab. So sometimes we try and, well, it doesn't work so well, but we change it. And sometimes it does work, and then it's a very good inspirational aspect to actually increase the functionality or to improve the product. So it works both ways. It's a very interesting process for us. Now, to go back to the mobile strategy, so you have seen already that even today, this is a reality. We provide now a lot of functionalities on the mobile, and we try to be very relevant, if I can take that word regarding the mobile. We push on the mobile the aspects where we think the mobile is good or better than traditional ways of interacting with the applications. That's the first aspect. Maybe in the longer term, our vision is that we want this mobile platform to be the kind of aggregator. You've heard us a lot talk about platform. Platform is not only a word, it's, I think, a behavior for Talentsoft, that everything can be aggregated by Talentsoft, but also by partners of Talentsoft and customers of Talentsoft. And that's what makes overall a good service for HR and for managers regarding HR processes. And mobile is the same. Mobile is also an approach to aggregate services from Talentsoft and services from partners, always with being relevant, so when it makes sense because you are using, I don't know, a quick validation, for example, once you are traveling, yes, that makes a good use case. If you are doing something extensive within a back office with lots of dashboards, lots of analysis, concentration, maybe you don't want to be on a mobile. Maybe you want to have only quick dashboards on a mobile. So that's the kind of thinking we always put in our day-to-day life to make sure we are on the right target for the mobile.
And the idea on a short term, I guess, is that we really have this personal assistant, because that was one also part of the dream of the talent management, is that making everyone in a position where you can really be pushed all the learning opportunities, the project opportunities. Someone is joining the company, and because thanks to the CRM, we already kind of know the person. We could say, oh, Joel, you could meet this person. I know you will be very interested into what she has done, she would like to do. And that's really the spirit of the personal assistant. It's to give everyone the ability to expand his work experience thanks to information that probably he could have missed otherwise. So that's why we so need this. When you are looking for an apartment, looking for anything, you need these notifications. You need to be in real time. That's what we can bring now to be sure that everyone will be on the same ground and will have the same opportunities to really fulfill himself at work. And that's what I think we are following together.
Thank you very much, Alex and Joel. And now it's time for probably one of my favorite French traditions, the cocktail déjeunatoire. Donc, for all of you who are here with us today, I invite you to join us in just a moment. For all of you joining us in front of your screens, I'm very sorry that you cannot partake. I hope to see you next time. I hope to see you next time in Amsterdam as well. So again, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for your time, and enjoy our time together. Thank you very much.